Radio, it's the Empty Man Podcast, you custer. On wood.
All right, welcome back, y'all, to the Empty Man Podcast. I got my man Charleston White in the building.
Yeah, continue.
Part two.
Yeah, part two.
Oh, yeah. So I wanted to bring a little bit of balance to this conversation.
Oh, they got some liquor back there. They got some eggnog.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You need a glass?
No, I might take a shot later because I'm a celebration. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
This
Oh,
nigga
yeah.
new podcast, man, and we breaking him out to the YouTube world. He ain't here yet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm coming.
He coming, y'all. Y'all hear him? He say he coming.
So, let's talk about good white folks. We had some conversation.
Yeah, good white people.
Yeah.
Your school teacher, nigga, that taught your mama, you could barely read and you need some help. I was a good white teacher.
Mm-hmm.
The probation officer that came to your house and see where you live and sat down and talked to your mother and seemed pretty courteous.
Right.
Good white people.
Right. I want to tell you a story about a woman named Willa Moose. I know she old school Southern, Willa Moose.
Yeah, Willa Moose, no, she a sister.
Oh, no. She's a white woman.
A white woman named Willa Moose?
A white woman named Willa Moose.
Miss Willa Moose. Yeah, that sounds like a, yeah, let's talk about her.
So she was my Algebra 2 teacher, and I couldn't stand this bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I was in that class with a couple of other cats, and we be acting up. But, I was the least active of the bunch.
Okay.
You feel me? I was the least active of the bunch. But she would fuck with me harder than she would fuck with them.
She saw potential.
Right. But I couldn't see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't see it at all. And I couldn't stand this woman. One day I came home, and this bitch was at my house, sitting on my couch, talking to my mother.
Good white woman.
And I'm like, this racist bitch. And I thought she was fucking with me on some racist shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, trying to come see where you live and all that kind of shit.
Right.
Yeah, that's your insecurities.
Right. I couldn't see her MO at all.
Yeah.
And I said,
Old white woman?
old white woman. It was her last year teaching. She was retired.
Oh, she was one of them good teachers.
Right.
Yeah.
Old school, man.
Yeah.
Old school. But I hated this bitch. Like, when she showed up to my house, I turned around and I saw her in the living room. I turned around and went down the street.
You made it known you didn't like it.
Right.
Yeah.
But man, one day I cussed her out so bad in class. I mean, I just went ham on this woman. I called her every old white bitch in the world, saggy titty bitch. I went I went ham on her, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Burns looking bitch. I went ham on her, right?
Yeah.
And man, she pulled me outside and she said, I said, why you always fucking with me? And she said, your friend, I'm not going to say their name, but she said, so-and-so and so-and-so, they going to prison. She told me that. She said, they going to prison. And she said, I think you have a chance. That's why I don't say nothing to them. And I only say it to you. Because they fucked. That's what she pretty much told me. And I swear to God, man, she was right. Both of them boys end up doing long-term prison beds.
There once was a time in America where people who work with children had a heart for children.
Mm-hmm.
People who taught school believed that they could teach children to be different.
Right.
There once was a time that people who became firefighters because they really wanted to be a hero.
Right.
I don't know if that's the case anymore.
Nah, that's about the money, man.
But you and I was fortunate enough to be born into a country, into a world where people really believed they could make a difference in people's lives. My mic's kind of going out a little bit. So shout out to Miss Williams.
Oh, yeah.
I had a lady by the name of Sandy Burnham.
Mm-hmm.
May she rest in peace. She was a lesbian lady who was the warden over the facility.
Mm-hmm.
And I was this little gang leader, that kept the facility in the uproar. And And I had this little walk on me, right?
Right.
I'm talking about, nigga, I had a walk on me, looked like I was skating.
Right.
And it was a walk that I had got down and mimicked, right?
Right.
So on this particular, I remember it was a Sunday, and I had just gotten a visit from my mother, and Miss Burnham was up there, and I swear up and down she was racist because she used to always lock me up, and she put me in this 30-day lockup program one time, and I had caused a riot, and when she came down. She had came down the hallway. Dewberry was he was up there.
He was a wild boy.
So listen, so she came down the hallway. So I was kicking on the door. I was doing the fool, making noise in the lockup cell. And so she was standing there looking in the window. And so I flashed myself at her, pulled my pants down, wag my little weenie at her, right? So listen, so she was so composed and poised. She just sat there with this blank look on her face, and she said, Charleston, I've seen bigger shit at the fish market. Say, boy, I got so goddamn mad. I think I kicked on the door all night. Ask that nigga Dewberry, boy, I think I kicked on the door all night long.
Oh, man.
So we ended up getting put on a 30-day lockup plan where we was locked up for 23 hours for 30 days. So when it was time for me to get released, man, I cussed this woman out so bad. I ended up writing her a letter, but she knew the letter was bullshit. I had to do it to come off of that 30-day lockdown.
Like
program.
an apology letter?
Yeah, I had to do it to get off the 30-day lockdown program. So it wasn't that sincere. And I was like you, I really believe she was prejudiced. And she was hard, she was mean. So one day, she moved me, because I had this little gangster walk on me. And she told them people, lock him up till he changed his walk. Yeah. Say, Dewberry, you remember Miss Burnham?
Remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah. Say, listen. So this nigga, she locked me up, nigga. I changed that walk. It took me about 2 weeks to get that goddamn walk switched up. So she ended up being promoted to the executive director in Austin, in the state capital, over the whole entire juvenile facility. So, right, she became the executive director of the Texas Youth Commission. And she got to sign off on my papers to be released.
Right.
So from 1995, nigga, to 1998, that woman denied my file 7 times. Nigga, I thought I wasn't gonna never come home. Say, she denied my file 7 times, homie.
Yeah.
And man, by this time, I had worked to, I had convinced everybody that I was doing good, man, and people started believing I had really changed. Man, that woman denied my paperwork 7 times. So fast forward 20 years down the road, this little bad kid grows up. And he don't go to prison, and he really changes his life.
Right.
So Miss Burnham, she ended up retiring, and she ended up catching cancer. So in 2016, last time me and her saw each other, you couldn't have made her believe that I would be in prison, or I wouldn't be dead by the time I was 25.
Yeah.
So in 2016, when I was in my late 30s, we put together a reunion where it was like 50 of us. We went back to the lockup facility where we was locked up at.
Right.
And so they invited all the old staff members who worked there back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. So this is in 2016.
Right.
And Miss Burnham showed up. And so I wish I had my phone. So she showed up and got to see the Charleston when he grew up.
Right.
And man, we was like best friends that day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so I finally got to see her for who she was. She was really an angel.
Right.
This white woman was an angel in human form.
Right.
But as a kid, we thought she was a white devil.
Right.
You see, so for her to see me right before she died, the exchange of energy that her and I had was priceless.
Right.
So I got to write her a letter and explain in detail the kid from a man. And so there's a paper of me and her in the magazine together, sitting on stage. She laughing, I'm laughing, and we was talking about that incident when she said, "Yeah, I think shit at a fish market."
He's a wild boy, man.
So getting in trouble. Trouble sometimes allow you to identify good white folk.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, and so a lot of times, I believe at times, trouble is used just for that, to show you what's good in life and what ain't.
Right.
Because most of us end up in trouble anyway.
Right.
And through trouble, we find God. Through trouble, we find how to become better sons to our mothers. We learn how to be better neighbors because we learn how to respect people, property, respect. So trouble teaches all of us a whole lot of shit.
Right.
Whereas if we wouldn't have got in trouble, we wouldn't know what we know.
Right. So we're talking about good white folks right now.
Yeah, good white folk. The motherfucker at the McDonald's that you cuss out and talk back to, and then get your order right and tell Jose don't spit in your food.
Right.
Yeah. Some good white folks spit in there no matter what.
Right.
Yeah, some white folk, you go to that restaurant and they look out there and see it's a nigga ordering. They got something. They got something specifically for you.
What's cracking, motherfuckers? Crip Mac, and you rocking with the Empty Man Podcast. Don't see no custer.